What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com, and we're going to talk some Tennessee Titans football as we head into 2021 here. You can see a free betting guide over on thelines.com, so be sure and head over there. We're talking about a team made big moves in the offseason by trading for Julio Jones. So Julio Jones joins A.J. Brown and, of course, Derrick Henry, and then, of course, Ryan Tannehill. Skill position players there for this team. Todd Downing is going to take over as offensive coordinator. You got Shane Bowen, who is taking over as defensive coordinator. So a little bit of a different look here for this team, especially when you consider what they did in free agency. They brought in edge rusher Bud Dupree to help them try to get some pressure on the quarterback. One of the teams that did not get to the quarterback very often last year at all. They signed corner Janoris Jenkins because they lost Adoree Jackson. Defensive lineman Danico Autry is going to be in there as well. They signed Kendall Lamb. He's a tackle. He'll be used on the offensive line for depth, but he's a guy that can play multiple positions. And then they were also brought in Josh Reynolds. If you remember Josh Reynolds from his days with the Rams, going to be that third wide receiver there for this team. And so not a bad third wide receiver when you have A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and then Josh Reynolds for this team. And now if you look at their draft picks, go after a corner. Again, they lost Adoree Jackson, so then they signed Janoris Jenkins. Then they get Caleb Farley in the first round. Now, this is a guy that opted out in 2020 and came back. He had, back surgery. It came out that he had back surgery. He kind of fell in the draft or whatever. Would have been one of the very, very top picks taken had he not. He fell all the way to the Titans at 22. Now he does a little bit of rehab still to go, but just a massive value for them so long as he plays to what everyone thinks he could be. In the second round, they took an offensive tackle, blocked for Trey Lance at North Dakota State, actually. Didn't allow a sack his entire junior season. Took a linebacker, Monty Rice, in the third round. They took another corner in the third round as well. In the fourth round, they took a wide receiver, kind of a flyer on this guy, Des Fitzpatrick, who's a kind of a little gadget guy that I think is going to fit in pretty well for them there. And then also in the fourth, took a defensive end. So you can see they definitely had an idea of what they were trying to do. And you take a look at this team, and this is, with all that talent, with what they were able to do last year, you see right here, Titans 28-1 to win it all. You go over here to the conference to win the AFC. They are, as you would imagine, half that, basically 14-1 here for the Titans. Now, neither one of those really is something I'm interested in, but I'll tell you where I am interested in this team, and that is down here to win the AFC South. They're even with the Colts. Listen, I understand the Colts have a really good offensive line. I understand they have some talent on that team, but you still have Carson Wentz at quarterback, and for me, I'm just not sold on Carson Wentz at quarterback. Plus 115, I really like that a lot. I mean, we're talking about a team here in this Tennessee Titans, 4th overall offense DVOA last year, 29th defense. So you can see why they went in and did all that work on the defensive side of the ball. ESPN says that they have the 13th best roster heading in to 2021. If you look at Warren Sharp, what he says over on Sharp Football, they have the 14th easiest schedule, so about middle of the pack. So they're not a hard schedule, not really necessarily an easy schedule, but kind of right in the middle of the pack there. He has them forecasted at 9.5 wins. And we can see right here that their win total is sitting at 9. Now, remember, we have a 17-game season, so they need to go 10-7 this year to hit that over. The over right now juiced to minus 140, you can see. So a lot of people thinking that this team is going to be pretty good. PFF has them power ranked at 13th overall with a 3.4% chance to win the Super Bowl. And they also have them projected at 9.5 wins. The problem is with the juice the way that it is, there's not really an edge on that or a bet to be made. I don't know if there's any rogue 8.5s out there left. If you find that, then maybe there's something you want to look at. But with it juiced as heavily over as it is and the projection only being kind of 9.5, then not a ton of value, I don't think, in this. So again, not for me. If you come over here, this is to make the playoffs. Yes, minus 140, no plus 110. Now, I think there could be at least a little bit of an interesting deal here on the yes. Maybe you can find it not juiced as much as 140 because I do think there's a chance that two teams could come out of this division, right? I mean, if the Colts if Carson Wentz has a resurrection to his career, then that Colts team could be really good and really kind of, shoot over expectation here, which could lead this Tennessee Titans team to still making the playoffs. I mean, could you see this team finishing 10-7, 11-6, something like that? And still being in the mix for the wild card, I think that's certainly a chance that they could take. I mean, something that could certainly happen for this team. If you look at the offensive line, 14th best offensive line heading into 2021 here. According to Pro Football Focus, last season they were 6th in run blocking, but 25th in pass blocking. So got to remember this. Taylor Lewan did not play much of the season last year. He was pretty injured. So Ben Jones at center, rock solid guy. He did really, really good. Can the rookie that they just drafted win that right tackle job? Taylor Lewan comes back and plays better, and then they perform much, much better in the pass blocking side of things as well to help out Ryan Tannehill find A.J. Brown and, of course, Julio Jones. On the defensive line, this was the major concern, and that's why they went out and spent all this money on the defensive side, and then also did what they did in the draft as well. They only recorded 19 sacks last year. Now, I understand it's more about pressure than it is sacks, but still, you want to get some sacks in drives, sacks, stop plays from happening, sacks give you a chance to get a strip sack and things like that, give you a chance for turnovers. And they only had 19 of those last year. They ranked 29th in the NFL in pressure rate last year as well. So again, that's why they go get Bud Dupree. That's why they go and invest a draft pick and a defensive end as well. Hopefully he can come in and do some stuff for them. Monty Rice, a linebacker in the third round. So that's why they did what they did there in the draft. And of course, as I mentioned, bringing in Bud Dupree in free agency, Danico Autry on the defensive line. So they really did go after trying to make that line a lot better on the defensive side of the ball. Look, this Tennessee Titans team to me is my personal favorite to win this division. So again, that's why I like them at plus 115. Again, I'm lower on the Colts than most and probably higher on the Titans than most. And if you look at that kind of to make the playoffs, look, this is 2 free wins against the Texans, likely 2 wins against the Jags. So 4 wins already for this team, just right there in their division. Again, don't love the minus 140, but something that I think that is at least within consideration there, but do love them to win this division, a bet that's already actually in my account. Guys, a absolutely free betting preview. You can take a look at this schedule here and how things break down for this Titans team. And again, all of the ins and outs. You can find the prop bets as well. Just type in a prop bet right there. It'll pop up for you. All you do is hit the little NFL tab over on the lines. It'll bring up all the teams and all the betting guides and click on those teams and do that. Hey, while you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. Really do appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Everything we do is absolutely free. Give us a thumbs up on this thing, and then let us know in the comment section how you're going to be betting the Tennessee Titans. Do you like that over on the win total? Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? Do you want to take a flyer on them to win the AFC or a flyer on them to win the Super Bowl? I'm not going that route, but maybe you are. Let us know in the comment section how you're going to do it, and good luck on all your bets here in 2021.